Level 1. The invitation. You're sitting on your couch scrolling through your phone when the notification pops up. Party this Saturday, 8 o'clock, bring whoever. Your stomach drops, not because you hate the person throwing it, not because you have other plans, but because now you have to make a choice, and you already know what that choice is going to cost you. You stare at the message for 3 minutes. Your thumb hovers over the keyboard. You type yes, delete it. Type maybe delete that too. Finally, you send a thumbs up emoji. Non-committal. Strategic. You've bought yourself time to back out later if needed. But deep down, you know you're going, not because you want to. Because if you don't, the guilt will eat you alive for the next week. Level 2. The preparation. It's Saturday afternoon. The party is in 5 hours. You've already changed your outfit twice. Not because you care about fashion, because you're trying to find something that makes you invisible enough to blend in, but present enough that people don't ask if you're okay. There's a science to this. Too casual and you look like you don't care. Too formal and you become a conversation topic. You settle on jeans and a dark shirt, the uniform of someone trying not to be noticed. You rehearse small talk in the mirror. How's work? Good, busy. How about you? You practice your laugh, the one that sounds natural but isn't. The one that says, I'm having a great time without actually having one. You check the guest list if there is one. Calculate who will be there. Plot escape routes in your mind. Kitchen, bathroom, backyard. Places you can disappear to when the noise gets too loud. Your phone buzzes, a friend asking if you need a ride. You think about it. Riding with someone means you can't leave early without an excuse. But showing up alone means walking in by yourself. You weigh the options like a hostage negotiator. Finally, you say yes to the ride. You'll figure out the exit later. Level 3. The arrival. You pull up to the house. Music is already thumping through the walls. You can see shadows moving behind the curtains. Your heart rate picks up. Not excitement, dread. You sit in the car for 30 seconds longer than necessary. Your friend is already halfway to the door. You force yourself out. Lock the car. Walk up the driveway like you're approaching a final exam you didn't study for. The door opens. Wall of sound. 20 conversations happening at once. Someone you barely know hugs you. You weren't ready for physical contact? You hug back anyway. Smile. Say something about traffic even though there wasn't any. You scan the room. Too many people. Not enough exits. Someone hands you a drink. You take it. Now you have something to hold. Something to do with your hands. Level 4. The Small Talk Gauntlet. You've been here 10 minutes and you've already had 4 conversations. None of them were real. How have you been? Good, you? Same old, same old. Cool, cool. You're collecting these interactions like receipts. Proof that you showed up. Proof that you tried. A guy you met once at another party recognizes you. He doesn't remember your name. You don't remember his either. You both pretend you do. Someone asks what you've been up to. Your mind goes blank. You've done 1,000 things this week, but suddenly you can't remember a single one. You say work mostly. They nod. You nod. Silence. You both look around for an escape. They spot someone across the room, saved by the distraction. You exhale. You migrate toward the kitchen, safer there. People are focused on drinks, not conversation. You refill your cup even though it's still half full. Buy yourself another 3 minutes of looking occupied. Someone you actually know appears. Relief floods your system. Finally, a real conversation. You talk about nothing important, but it feels like oxygen. Then someone calls their name from another room. They leave. You're alone again. Level 5. The Observer. You found your spot, corner of the living room. Close enough to look involved, far enough to avoid being pulled into the center. You're watching everything now. The loud guy who's had too much, the couple fighting in whispers by the hallway, the group playing some drinking game you don't understand the rules to. You're studying human behavior like it's a documentary. This is where you're comfortable. Watching, not participating. But someone notices you standing alone as they're walking over. You can see it happening. No escape. They're going to ask if you're okay. They're going to try to pull you into something. Your mind races through possible responses. Level 6. The forced interaction. They're standing in front of you now. Smiling, friendly, dangerous. You doing okay? Yeah, just taking a break. They nod but don't leave. You should come play with us. We need one more person. Your stomach drops. You're being recruited, drafted into mandatory fun. You can't say no without looking weird. You can't say yes without hating the next 20 minutes of your life. You hear yourself say, sure. Your brain is screaming. You follow them to the table. Everyone's loud, energetic, already 3 rounds deep into whatever this is. Someone explains the rules. You don't retain a single word. You're too busy calculating how long you have to stay before you can fake a bathroom break. The game starts. You're going through the motions. Laughing when others laugh. Nodding when someone makes a joke you didn't quite hear. You're a hologram of a person. Technically present, but not actually there. Then it's your turn. Everyone's looking at you. Waiting. You have no idea what you're supposed to do. Someone repeats the question. You give an answer. It lands flat. Awkward silence. Then someone else jumps in and the attention shifts. You've survived. Barely. Level 7. The bathroom retreat. You've been out there for 40 minutes. That's your limit. You excuse yourself. No one notices. You walk down the hallway, find the bathroom, lock the door. Silence. Finally. You sit on the edge of the tub. Check your phone. Scroll through nothing. You're not looking for anything specific. You're just buying time. Resetting. Someone knocks. You say 1 second. You flush even though you didn't use the toilet. Wash your hands. Look at yourself in the mirror. You look tired. You are tired. This is exhausting. Performing normal for 2 hours straight takes more energy than an actual workout. You unlock the door. Someone rushes past you. You slip back into the chaos. Level 8. The peak. The party has hit its stride. Music is louder. Conversations are drunker. Inhibitions are gone. This is when extroverts thrive. This is when you start planning your exit. You check the time. How long is acceptable? You've been here 1 hour and 12 minutes. Is that enough? Can you leave without being rude? You run the math. If you leave now, you'll seem flaky. If you stay another hour, you'll lose your mind. You split the difference, 30 more minutes. You can survive 30 more minutes. Someone suggests moving the party to another location, a bar, a club, somewhere worse. Everyone's excited. You are not. You're being invited, expected to continue. This is the trap. The party extending beyond the party. You make a decision, you're out. Level 9, the Irish goodbye. You're doing it. No announcements, no prolonged farewells. You're just going to slip out. It's the only way. You grab your jacket, move toward the door, someone catches your eye, you wave, keep moving, don't stop. If you stop, you'll get pulled into a 15-minute goodbye loop. You're outside. Cold air hits your face. Freedom. You walk to your car, unlock it, get in. Sit there for a second, you made it. You showed up. You stayed a reasonable amount of time. You fulfilled your social obligation. Your phone buzzes. Someone noticed you left. Where'd you go? You type out a response. Had to head out. Early morning tomorrow. It's not true, but it's believable. Thanks for the invite. You start the car, pull away. The music fades behind you. The silence in your car feels like a weighted blanket. Level 10. The aftermath? You're home. Shoes off, lights low. You collapse onto the couch. Your social battery isn't just drained. It's in the negatives. You'll need 2 days minimum to recover from 2 hours of interaction. Was it worth it? You're not sure. You didn't have a terrible time. You also didn't have a good time. It just was. Neutral, fine, survivable. Your phone lights up, group chat, photos from the party. Everyone looks like they're having the time of their lives. You're in one of the pictures. Background, blurry. You look exactly how you felt. There, but not there. Someone texts you directly. Good seeing you tonight. You respond with same. Add an exclamation point so it seems enthusiastic. You mean it, sort of. You don't regret going. You also don't regret leaving. Tomorrow someone will ask if you're coming to the next thing. You'll say maybe. You'll mean no. But you'll probably end up going anyway. Because that's the deal. You show up. You survive. You leave. You recover. Then you do it all over again, not because you want to. Because sometimes survival looks like participation. And participation looks like showing up to places you'd rather not be. That's level 10. The cycle, it doesn't end. Level 11, the postmortem. It's the next day. You're reviewing the footage in your head, every conversation, every moment. You're identifying mistakes, things you said that sounded stupid 3 hours later, a joke that landed wrong, an opinion you shared that nobody asked for. Your brain is an unforgiving editor. It replays the awkward moments on loop. That time you laughed too loud. That moment you stood alone by the drinks table for 45 seconds. The way you said goodbye to someone you'd already said goodbye to. None of it mattered. Everyone else has already forgotten. But you haven't. You won't. This is the tax. The mental invoice that arrives after every social event. You pay it in silence, alone, replaying footage nobody else is watching. Level 12, the text. 3 days later, your phone lights up. Same person who invited you to the last party. There's another one this weekend, smaller. Just a few people, low key. You stare at the message. Here we go again. Smaller sounds better. Fewer people means fewer interactions. Low key means you can leave early without it being obvious. Just a few people means you might actually know them. You're calculating risk versus reward, obligation versus desire, the path of least resistance versus the path of least regret. You type out a response, delete it, type again. Maybe, I'll let you know. Non-committal, safe. Keeps the door open without walking through it. They respond immediately. Cool, no pressure. But that's a lie. There's always pressure. Social pressure. The pressure to be normal, to participate, to not be the person who always says no, you don't respond again. You'll decide later, closer to the date, when you can better assess your energy levels, your capacity, your willingness to survive another round. Level 13, the guilt. You didn't go. You sent a message 2 hours before. Something came up. It didn't. Nothing came up. You just couldn't do it. Now you're sitting at home, comfortable, safe, quiet. But there's a weight in your chest, guilt. Not because you wanted to go, but because you know they noticed. You know your absence was felt. You know there's a limit to how many times you can decline before people stop inviting you. And that's the fear. Not that you'll have to keep going to parties, but that one day the invitations will stop. And you'll realize you actually wanted the option, even if you never took it. You check your phone, no messages, no photos from tonight. Either it hasn't started yet or you've already been written off. You don't know which is worse. Level 14, the exception. A month later, different invitation, different person. This one feels different. It's not a party. It's dinner. 4 people total. Someone you actually like, somewhere quiet. A restaurant with good lighting and assigned seating. This you can do. This has structure. Beginning, middle, end. No chaos, no crowds. No corner to hide in because you don't need one. You say yes immediately. You show up on time. You stay the entire meal. You contribute to the conversation. You laugh. Real laughs. Not performance laughs. You leave when everyone else leaves. You drive home feeling light, not drained, not guilty, not anxious. This is what it's supposed to feel like. Connection without cost. Presence without pretending. You realize the problem was never other people. It was the wrong other people, the wrong environments, the wrong expectations. Level 15, the boundary. You figured it out. You don't hate socializing, you hate bad socializing, loud parties, forced mingling, crowds of strangers, shallow conversations that go nowhere. You're done pretending those things are fine. You're done saying maybe when you mean no. You're done sacrificing your peace for someone else's idea of fun. From now on, you choose carefully. Dinner, coffee, small groups, real conversations. You decline the rest. Politely, firmly, without guilt, because protecting your energy isn't antisocial. It's survival. And survival doesn't mean enduring everything, it means choosing what's worth enduring. The invitations still come. You still say no most of the time. But when you say yes, you mean it. And that makes all the difference. You're not hiding anymore. You're not forcing yourself into spaces that don't fit. You're just being selective, intentional, honest. That's the final level. Not learning to love parties, but learning it's okay that you don't. The cycle doesn't end. But you stop fighting it. You stop apologizing for it. You just live in it. On your terms. Level 16. The peace. You're older now, not by much, but enough to stop caring what people think about your absence. The invitations still arrive. You still evaluate each one, but the guilt is gone, replaced by something steadier. Clarity. You know who you are. You know what you need. You know the difference between isolation and solitude, between loneliness and chosen quiet. You've built a life that fits. Small circle, deep conversations, spaces that don't require you to perform. And when you do show up, when you choose to be there, people notice because you're actually present, not counting exits, not rehearsing escapes, just there, fully, rarely. The paradox is this: the less you force yourself into spaces that drain you, the more energy you have for the ones that matter. The fewer parties you attend, the more meaningful the ones you choose become. You've stopped measuring your worth by how social you appear, stopped apologizing for needing recovery time, stopped pretending exhaustion is the same as connection. Some people won't understand. They'll call you flaky, antisocial, boring, let them. Their opinion isn't your responsibility. Your energy is. The cycle never ends. Invitations keep coming. Parties keep happening. The world keeps demanding you show up and be loud and stay late. But you've learned the most important thing. You don't owe anyone your presence, not your discomfort, not your depletion, not your performance of normal. You owe yourself peace. And sometimes peace looks like staying home. Sometimes it looks like leaving early. Sometimes it looks like saying no without explanation. That's not failure. That's wisdom. You've survived every party you thought would break you, every awkward conversation, every forced interaction, every moment you wanted to disappear. You're still here, still choosing, still protecting what matters. That's the real victory. Not becoming someone who loves parties, but becoming someone who no longer apologizes for not loving them. The invitation will come again. Maybe you'll go, maybe you won't. Either way, you'll be fine. Because you finally understand. Your life isn't measured by how many parties you attend. It's measured by how honest you are about which ones are worth your time.